Hi. You know who I am by now. Don't have to go into any details. See? I'm nuts. Saying something wrong again. Yep. I'm doing this a day later. I'll explain why. I've been trying to do this video for about 8 times yesterday, and I was getting interrupted after interrupted after interrupted by stupid phone calls. And you know what it was? It was loan companies asking me if I wanted a loan. And I told them to buzz off. So this is top 10 Thursdays a day later. And James Boss picked the list this week. If you don't know who James Boss is also known in our lovely YouTube movie community as Horror Collector. And he chose the list this week, and the list is top 10 rewatchable movies. And as always, I tend to forget that you only need a list of 10 films because on most of my lists I have to do honourable mentions. But before I get into my honourable mentions, I'm going to say hello to James, Stephen, Zach, Ian, and whoever else does Top 10 Tuesdays. Get a howdy from me. So yeah, let's get into this honourable mentions first. And as always, trusty pad. Right, what I'll do is I'll just go through my honourable mentions and then I'll just explain a little bit on the top 10. So here we go, honourable mentions: Demons 1 and 2, The Orphan Killer, Taken, Beetlejuice, Little Nicky, Dirty Dancing, Staying Alive, Flashdance, Beauty and the Beast, Scarface, Schindler's List, Aladdin, I like Aladdin, Sleeping Beauty, and there's one more. I was just thinking what it was. Oh yeah, Saw. I can't have my top 10 list without putting Saw in, because it's great. So anyway, let's get on to the list, because that's what we're here for. I'm here to give you out my list. Top 10 rewatchable movies that we're coming in at number 10. Number 10 is Itchy the Killer. Reason why I chose Itchy the Killer, I love it. I've watched it about 6 times now, and every time I watch it, it gets better and better and better. You know how I am with I love my gore. This is something else. That's all I'm going to say to you. Highly recommend, just watch it. Number 9, Lady Snowblood. Asian films. As you know, I love my Asian films. This is an Asian action movie with quite a lot of gore, set in the 70s. Yay! Oh, I'm just trying to think of the actress that plays Lady Snowblood. Oh, it's lost. Gone. So anyway, that's number 9. Number 8, we have, I couldn't do just one for this one. It had to be Death Wish 1, Death Wish 2, Death Wish 3, Death Wish 4 and Death Wish 5, because I love Charles Bronson. I think he is just amazing. Especially in Death Wish 2, where, bit of a spoiler, where he's been an evangelist and he's just taking it to new heights in the second one. The first one you get to see a little bit, but the second one that's where you see the best in Charles Bronson, so highly recommended for that. Now we're on to number 7, and it is of course E.T. One of the bestest films directed by Steven Spielberg. I just love it. Everyone knows the iconic scene with the whole bike and it ends up flying. Love that scene. So that's number 7. Number 6, directed by one of my favourite directors in the world, the Soska sisters. And of course I am on about American Mary. Everybody knows the story, I don't have to go into any details. I just love, I've probably watched American Mary now about 20 times and it keeps on getting better every time I watch it. So that's number 6. Now we're up to the top 5. Number 5, Savage Streets, directed by Danny Steinman. I love Linda Blair. Give you a bit of a spoiler alert. After her sister, who's deaf muted, the sister gets raped, and Linda Blair takes revenge into her own hands and goes to find the gang called the Scars and kills them one by one. Basically, she just takes the law into her own hands. It's just amazing. If you haven't seen it, you've got to watch it. It's brilliant. Now we're on to number 4. Now, this is a movie I don't own, but I can't own it because it's only Region 1 release. But it happens to be one of my favourite films of all time. And I mean, not like adult now, I mean like from when I was a child. And it stars, of course, Roddy Piper. What's his name? Dirk Benedict. Lou Albano's in it. Afrin Sika. Somebody else. There's guest appearances from Bruno Sammartino and Ric Flair. So of course I'm on about Body Slam. Basically Roddy Piper's a tag team and they're on the way, and Dirk Benedict is like the manager and he's struggling, and he ends up getting their way, and he ends up forming the Rock and Wrestling, where he finds this band, and the band tours with them, and the band like does their thing, and then the wrestlers after wrestling. It's quite good, highly recommended. I must have seen that a million times. Now we're getting on to the top 3 with number 3, and it is of course starring Cassandra Peterson as the one and only Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. She is a absolute legend. She's just a legend in her own right. I just love this film. I was actually brought up on this film in the late 80s when it first come out over in the UK. I was like 6 or 7. I was just completely hooked. As soon as I seen the way she was dressed with the low cut dress and the high split upper leg, and this fishnet tights, it's just unbelievable. She was just amazing. And if you may notice on my profile picture on here, I do have a picture of Elvira. I just love her. I'm obsessed with Elvira and Lily Munster. I love them too. They're just the best. So that's number 3. Top 2. Number 2. Just missing out by 1 spot, because what I wanted to do with this list before I carry on, I wanted to switch things around and vamp things up, so you're getting a few surprises. So number 2, just missing out on the top spot, is The Secret Craft. I do not have to mention what happens in this movie, because you already know from my previous top 10 lists. I've talked about it. I loved it. I must have watched this film hundreds of times, and I know, honestly, I know near enough every single thing that happens in the film from scene to scene to scene. So there we go. So don't have to mention anymore. Which brings us to numero uno, number 1, for my number 1 of top 10 rewatchable movies. And it is of course starring Roddy Piper yet again, but this time he stars as a person called Sam Hell. So that's the character name, so it'll give you some idea of oops, sorry, of what my number one is, and it is, of course, Hell Comes to Frog Time. Another movie that I watched iconically as a kid, hooked on it, same as like Elvira, but this I was more hooked on. I absolutely adored it. Every time I see it on the telly, I've actually got it recorded on my Sky box, and I'm gonna wait because it's just coming out on Blu-ray. Arrow've just released it on Blu-ray over here, but it's quite a bit of money, so I'm gonna wait till it drops down just a little bit, and then there it is. A absolute movie. So funny what he does. It's just amazing. So yeah, anyway, that is my top 10, which this week it was James's turn and he picked the top 10 rewatchable movies. Go ahead to James's channel, which is Horror Collector, and see what he does, because I know he's going to upload this later as well. And next week is my week, and I've got a very, very special one coming up. Very, very special, intriguing one that I'm ready to do. So keep posted, comment nice comments, and if you like what I do, please subscribe. And if this is your first time watching me doing these lists, I sincerely welcome you to the channel. And yeah, so stay tuned for next week, because it's my turn, and hopefully it will be on a Thursday. It was a day out this week. So yep, I will let you go, and I will see you all soon. Ta ta for now. Bye 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 bye.